When we discuss about security, so we don't need to worry about much on the ESXi networks because it will be physical networks and physical security devices will be taken care by separate team, network team or security team. So, but there are just small two options in virtual networks where we work with. We should know it, and they're very important. Okay. And first thing is very important firewall and VLAN. Firewall and VLAN. We'll discuss about both of them. First, we'll discuss about VLAN, virtual local area network. Private network within a network. So as of now, local area network is a network within a small building. Okay, LAN. LAN is local area network within a building, within a small room, limited number of devices connected together locally, not to the internet, not to any other devices. Within a building, all devices connected together is called LAN, LAN, local area network. So here VLAN, virtual local area network. We will separate the network again into multiple small networks. Single local area network itself, again we separate them. In our lab itself, there are some 30 devices connected together. Okay? Laptops, mobiles, lab PCs, server, virtual machines, physical server, all connected together in the same building, a single network. It's called lab. Now, if I want to separate all mobile devices via Wi-Fi or cable, whatever Wi-Fi devices connected to the same network, a separate network. Laptops, separate network. Virtual machines, separate network. I can split like that. Within that single network, I can separate again. So it will be easy to manage so that I can understand how many of students are connecting Wi-Fi or utilizing the Wi-Fi services. Okay. So tomorrow if Wi-Fi is slow, I can see the load and I can buy better package. And how many virtual machines you're practicing, so that how many IPs I need, I can have a separate network. So the administration will be easy and security also will be easy. Okay. So if lab people need more IPs, like if there are 30 virtual machines, I can allocate more IP addresses there to avoid impact. Okay. So to avoid issues. So like that, if you want to provide multiple better security and better performance, we need to have a VLAN, virtual local area network. We'll see how it works. This is a physical switch. So we know how a physical switch works. Physical switch works on some basic formula. What is that? On small MAC table. Physical switch works based on MAC table. In its memory, it will have its own MAC table. The communication, it tracks properly. This is a physical switch, multiple ports, okay, ports are there, and multiple devices are connected here. And here it will be a router. And multiple devices are connected here. Now, these devices can communicate with any other device directly. If you this machine sending a packet, it will reach here. If it is sending here, it will reach here directly. Okay. Now, let's say these are two critical machines. Let's say company's financial data is there. Other machines which are connected directly to the same switch where our critical servers are connected, others can directly communicate this machine and there is a possibility that they can see what is going in company's financial data. Instead of someone is coming from external and checking our data, it's called hacking, like ransomware kind of thing, attack, viruses and all. Like unauthorized people will be entering. If someone is coming from outside, we can easily track. If someone is crossing our network, we can easily track from where it is coming, whether really it is they have stolen the data or not. We can identify. If it is internal, we cannot find. There is a survey also. In any organization, 60% of the data will be unauthorized accessed by local people, not from outside. Okay? So that means the other machines can directly communicate with these machines, and we cannot track who is connecting. Okay. Nowadays, it is available like earlier. It was not possible with the older devices. Okay. If you want to provide security, like others can directly communicate here. If someone is crossing a router, we can check who is crossing. But here it is happening internally, so we cannot identify. To avoid that, if you want to track that also, we need to buy a separate physical switch again. Like this. And connect these two devices here. Remove from here. Okay. And connect this switch also to the router. Now, even though if it is employee trying to reach this machine, it will go to the router and should come back here. The packet should go to the router and come back here. If someone is crossing here, we can understand who is trying to go cross here. Okay, that is security purpose. But for that, to achieve that security feature, we need to buy a physical server. It will cost some 60-70 lakhs extra just for that purpose. Okay, so that is expensive. And we also have like enough ports here. We're still buying one more switch. Okay, so unnecessarily you are paying more. That is one reason. Another reason, let's say all devices are connected here. This guy is trying to download some 1000 GB of data, maybe a movie or maybe necessary data which is needed for that company. Trying to download 1000 GB of data from the internet. This entire network bandwidth speed, the internet speed called bandwidth. It is possible that the entire bandwidth will be allocated to this person because there is huge demand. Other machines, or even though they are genuinely running business applications, they will be impacted now. They will have slowness in the internet connection. Okay, that's a performance thing, performance impact. To avoid that, we need to have another switch like connect here. Now this will be there will be a separate route here. There is no problem. We can achieve performance if there is a separate switch. So like this, those two reasons, performance and security. Because of performance security, we need to buy more switches. Okay, and we are spending more money there. To avoid that, there is a feature called VLAN, virtual local area network. This is a local area network, but still we can segregate separate networks like this. Multiple private networks. This is one private network, this is one private network, this is one. So how do they define it? With respect to VLAN IDs. Network team who manages this physical switch log into the network switch, this physical switch, and they will create a VLAN ID. The VLAN ID is from 4000 to 0 to 4095. These many private networks we can create within a single network. Out of which some 8 are not usable. Okay. If you leave 8, around 4087 are usable. usable private networks. Okay. Now, let's say these two are critical machines, right? This machine and machine 2 are having these two machines are having our company's private confidential data. Others don't want to communicate directly. Okay. Now what they will do, our physical network team who manages this physical switch will log into this network switch and create a VLAN ID. Let's say 100 and 101. Let's say 102. Some VLAN IDs are created. If they just create is not only enough, they need to trunk something called trunk. So trunk this VLAN ID. That means allow that particular private network. So they will mark this port 1 as like the trunk VLAN 100 here. That means VLAN 100 traffic can communicate via this port. Whichever ports you want to mark as a private network. So we will mark here also. And these all three 110. 110. These three ports are separate network now. These two ports are separate. This port is separate. Now he has created three different private networks within a single local connected network. Again, private, separate, three different separate networks. And to identify, there is a number which is called VLAN ID identifier. Okay, 100, 100, 100. Now, if you just assign VLAN ID on a port, that is called trunking. Very, very important for us. Even though it is pure networking thing, they will ask what is VLAN trunking. Okay, what is trunk port and access port? We'll see that. Okay, now connected, right? So when two devices are connected here, you need to enter VLAN ID here also. If you enter here, that is not only enough. You need to enter the VLAN ID on the server side also. Now, whatever the message packets that are transferring from this machine, let's say you are sitting here, you want to send a packet to this person, your friend is sitting here. Let's say you want to send a file who is sitting here, or maybe this is a printer, you are sitting here, you are trying to print. That packet will goes to the switch. When the switch goes here, okay, the packet goes to the port. This packet normally just will be the content of the message packet. If a machine is trying to send a packet or the packet is free, what will be the first thing? Yeah.
Source MAC,
Source MAC,
destination MAC, data,
source MAC address,
destination MAC address,
destination MAC address,
data,
data. Normally it will be like this. Now data is the file that you are trying to print. Okay. Now along with this, when we have used VLAN ID, it will use VLAN ID also. It's something like pin code or maybe extra landmark. When you are trying to send a parcel to somebody, you are trying to mention clear landmark, okay, to reach the destination. Okay. So VLAN ID, the packet will be prepared with this VLAN ID also now, because on the IP configuration itself, we have used VLAN ID. Now the packet will go to the switch port. This switch port, now the packet will look for VLAN ID. Okay, VLAN ID 100 is allowed here or not. Once the packet is received here, the switch port will try to open this box and look for landmark, whether 100 is tagged here or not. If 100 is matching here, then it will allow to flow outside. Let's say on the, okay, we'll just reach. So then once it reaches the switch, once the ID matches, once it reaches the switch, it will go to the router. Then come back. It is supposed to go to this printer, right? 110, it will go here. Based on the destination MAC, it will go to this machine and it will print it here. Okay, so like this the traffic will flow if it matches. What if you don't, like on the switch side, physical switch side, there is VLAN ID 100 trunk here, created here, but you are not using VLAN ID here. That means this packet will go without VLAN ID. The switch port will be expecting for this VLAN ID 100. In this message packet, there is no VLAN ID. Now it will understand that this is some suspicious packet, drop it here. It cannot print because it is looking for VLAN ID 100 on it. Clear? If it matches, then only it will allow. If it value also, let's say 120, you have used 120 here. Wrong value also it will not allow. If it is wrong address, it will not deliver. Parcel will not be delivered, right? So like that. Clear? It should be exactly the same value. For that purpose, the network team, whoever create this VLAN ID and trunk it here on the, you have to use ID on your side. On our side is it's on port group. We have an ID on a virtual machine port group or VM kernel port group. Clear? On a port group, we will use that VLAN ID address. Then, sorry, it's 100. So once it matches, it traffic will flow. If it is not matching, it will not allow. If there is no address also, it will not. Even if this VLAN ID is not configured here, if you configure VLAN ID here, now you tell me, will this still work or not? There is no VLAN ID here, but you are trying to send with extra VLAN ID here. Just guess whether it works or not. Other way it will not work, we are sure. Okay, I just told you. This way, on the switch port, there is no VLAN ID. On the port group side, you have entered a VLAN ID. The packet will go with this extra address. Now you tell. Will it work or not? Will it send the packet outside or not? From remote? Can you hear me? Just try to answer yes or no. Like even if you didn't listen
Yes,
as
sir.
of now, just say yes or no. We'll see. We'll listen. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes is wrong answer. If somebody said yes, that will not work because this packet will go with 100. There is no VLAN ID 100. Switch port is not aware of what is this VLAN ID 100. It will drop it here. Okay. We'll test that also. Okay. So in our vCenter itself, in our ESXI host itself, on our physical switch, there is no VLAN ID. Okay, it's like this, and we have connected a ESX machine there. Just if it is used on the switch side, we have to use it on the server side also. If it is not used, we should not use. And also it should be same number if you are using. Okay, so we'll see here. This is ESXi machine, virtual machine port group. This is wrong. Somebody used VLAN ID here. Here, all IPs, all it will work. Okay, all 4095, it will still work. That's why even though there is on the physical switch side, there is no VLAN ID created, but on the server side, somebody said all VLAN IDs. It will still work because all they're mentioning that all, but in real time we never use this all. We'll say none instead. You can see if there is a VLAN ID configured, you can see here. So right now it's empty means there is no VLAN ID. On physical switch side also there is no VLAN ID. On the server side also port group there is no VLAN ID. That's why if you ping this VLAN, this machine where it is connected 150, I'm setting some side. and I'm trying to reach the machine. Working, right? It will be connecting until I break it. Minus T will continuous ping. Okay. So it will be still working. What I will do, right? I will go to the ESXI machine. Instead of putting it here, okay, there is a port group here, right? I'll go to this port group. I'll send it as, let's say, 100 only. Instead of all, I set it to 100. That means I have defined a VLAN ID here. But on the physical switch where this VMNIC 0 is connected, there is a cabling done, right? On the physical switch side, there is no VLAN ID because it's our lab switch and we know that there is no VLANs created. It's supported, but no one created as of now. Okay. Now, on the other end, we have not used. Here we have used. As of now, no VMs connected. Our VM DC is here and it is working now because there is no VLAN ID here, no VLAN ID in the physical switch. Now I will move this VM from here to this network, VM network 2. I'll remove it from here. VM network 2 and make sure it is connected. You can see there is a virtual machine connected. It is going via this VM NIC and VLAN ID 100. See, there is a break. It stopped responding because the packets will not go out from this physical switch. From this port, it will not go out. I'm sitting somewhere here. Here is my laptop. I'm sitting here. Same physical. I'm connected to same physical switch, but here. Here I have not used any VLAN ID. Here also I have not used any VLAN ID. When we were not using, it was working. When we have used it here, it's not working. So it will not work even if it is not created on the physical switch. If you use it on virtual as a port group, it will not work. I'll just remove this VLAN ID. It will immediately start working. See, it starts working again. Okay. When you have a network connectivity problem, first thing you have to check is VLAN ID. Let's say storage network team is confirmed that there is VLAN ID created, but they have not created. When they confirm that it's created, you have created. Now it will not work. Now you need to check with him. As you said, I have configured, but it is not working. So he will realize and verify that. He might have created VLAN ID here, but he might miss trunking here. Understood? So we have to inform him whether he did trunking or not. And even if he did trunking, it should not be like this on other port. It should be the port where we have connected exactly. How do we know where we have connected? So there is the 3 dots here, right, next to the network adapter on the virtual switch. Click 3 dots, view setting, CDP. Here it will display the port. All also it will display here where it is connected. So right now this is not supported with CDP protocol, Cisco Discovery Protocol. So it will give you the information about what is the switch port 1/5 on switch 01 or switch 10, whatever it is. It will give like that port number. We have to give that port number to them. Okay. 1/10, 1/5, 1/6, or 2/1, 2/2. So that number we have that we can get it from here and you can give it. So he will verify on that 1/2 port whether VLAN ID 100 is trunked or not. If not, he will trunk it. Trunk is nothing but allowing specific VLAN ID traffic through a particular physical switch port. It's called trunking. Understood, VLAN? So when we create these private networks, even though they are connected locally, the packets will go to router and come back. So if someone is crossing router, we can understand. we can achieve security, what we are expecting. Without spending more money with this VLAN concept, we can achieve that security feature. And also, if it is a VLAN, right, there will be reserved bandwidth. Even though it's downloading 1000 GB or 2000 GB of data, uh, there will be reserved bandwidth for this local network. So no impact to this. So we can achieve both security and performance. For better security and performance. Yes. Here you should note trunk. Very important. Allow a VLAN IP traffic to flow through physical switchboard. Okay, allowing the traffic flow via switchboard. Okay, trunking. And now there is another thing called access port and trunk port. Very important. Even though we don't work on them, we should know these words. And switch, when there is trunking, right? Not only one VLAN ID will be allowed here in the switch port. Right now, there is in this switch port and VLAN ID 100 is allowed, right? Not only just one, he can allow multiple VLAN IDs. VLAN 110, VLAN 120. He can allow multiple VLAN ID traffic through flow through only one switch port also. Because here we have a switch. This network adapter is connected to one switch port, but we create multiple VLANs here. All will flow through one network card only. Okay, something like we are couriering, like from here, we are couriering, let's say we are sending couriers from Bangalore, multiple friends. Let's say you are 5 people, I am one, all together sending to different addresses. They all go through some Bangalore one courier terminal, and then all together will go and then dispatch again there, distribute to different locations, something like that. Multiple packets from here with the different addresses clubbed together, but still they are secure. One packet cannot see other packet because it is tagged with VLAN ID. Okay, they cannot open easily. So it will go via this single network switch, so a network adapter, and it will go to the destination. They will all go through one single switch port. So the single network adapter, the single switch port should be aware of all of them. Okay, then only it will accept the packets. When a switch port, physical switch port is allowed to send multiple VLAN IDs, it's called trunk port. Did you get it? If a switch port is allowed to send multiple VLAN ID traffic, is called a trunk port. మనం మల్టిపుల్ VLAN IDs యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు సేమ్ స్విచ్ పోర్ట్ మీద. సో వీ కెన్ యూజ్ ఇక్కడ ఒక VLAN ID, ఇక్కడ ఒక VLAN ID, ఇక్కడ ఒక సపరేట్ ప్రొడక్షన్ సపరేట్. ఇందాక మన ల్యాబ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పాను కదా, ఆల్ మొబైల్స్ షుడ్ యూజ్ దిస్ నెట్వర్క్, ల్యాప్టాప్ షుడ్ యూజ్ దిస్ నెట్వర్క్, వర్చువల్ సర్వర్ షుడ్ యూజ్ డిఫరెంట్ నెట్వర్క్ లాగా. ఓకే, సో ఐ కెన్ క్రియేట్ లైక్ దట్. When you create like that, it's called trunk port. The physical switch port which is allowed to send multiple VLAN ID traffic is called trunk port. And what is access port? Is it clear with trunk port? Chala important real interview. Access port, if it is allowed to only one single VLAN ID. Okay, only if it is allowed to send and receive traffic from only one VLAN ID. So one VLAN ID, if it is allowing to send and receive, it's called access port. So access port, we don't connect our physical servers, ESXi, Windows or Linux, we don't connect them. So where we use access port right here to connect a switch to a router or a switch to another switch. If you have one more physical switch, if you want to connect these two physical switches together, here we use switch to switch and switch to router, because this will never change. They will always communicate all traffic. Okay, so here it will be same VLAN ID on both of them, two dedicated devices. Okay, so, but on a SI machine, we use multiple VLAN IDs. We should, after this class, we should know is how what is VLAN ID, at least how to configure VLAN ID on a port. Important. Okay. So IP address assigns network team modem చెప్పింటాడు ఈ నెట్వర్క్ ఈ IP address యూస్ చేస్తే వర్క్ అవ్వదు ఇలా అనేది బి మిస్సింగ్ ఓకే సో లైక్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ select ESXi configure virtual switches port group edit with the three dots. Edit settings. Enter VLAN ID. You know how to enter a VLAN ID is enough. They will say that you have to use this VLAN ID on the switch virtual port group. So we will enter this VLAN ID here. Once you enter like this, you can enter. You know how to enter it now. But the impact is we should know the background. If you enter, what is means, why it is not working without VLAN ID, why it is working with that number. Because the packets will go with that ID, switch port will be looking for that VLAN ID information. Okay. They may simply say like they were during rush when they're rushing their work, they might have created VLAN ID here, and they inform that you use this VLAN ID, it will work. Even after entering VLAN ID, it is not working. You will be blank. You will be thinking about you have missed something. There is another part you have to think that you might have not trunked. Trunking చేసింటారు క్రియేట్ చేసి వదిలేసింటారు ఇక్కడ దాన్ని ట్రంక్ కూడా చేయాలి ఎగ్జాక్ట్గా మన సర్వర్ ఎక్కడ కనెక్ట్ చేస్తుంటే ఆ పోర్ట్లోనే ట్రంక్ చేయాలి ఆ పోర్ట్ మనం ఇవ్వాలి మళ్ళీ లైక్ ఇలా ఇష్యూ వచ్చిన టైంలో ట్రంక్ అయిందా లేదా అది ఎక్కడ చూస్తామంటే మనకు ఆ పాత్ తెలుసుందని ఇక్కడ యూజ్ ఇట్ హియర్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ యూ కెన్ సీ ఆర్ ఇఫ్ యూ గో టు CDP only it will show here all it will show property CDP and all information LLDP CDP only will show that port information. Copy that IP from path from here, inform him. This is the port where my server is connected and it is still not working. Okay, so fine. Do not forget about VLAN ID when we are talking about communication issues. Here, and one more thing, let's say, okay, so what I'll do now, I'll clear out this diagram. You tell me just based on your understanding. Nothing wrong if you answer wrong answer. Okay, if you answer wrong, no problem. There is an ESX machine. Here also there is an ESX machine. This ESXi is connected to this switch port and this one is connected to this switch port. Okay, two different switch ports. Now, okay, so virtual switches, okay, connected. Okay, whatever it is, I'll just, for the sake of connectivity, I'll use like this. Okay, virtual switches are connected. Here there is a port group and here there is a port group. This VM V1 is connected here and on this port group there is a VLAN ID called 100. It's tagged. Attached on this port group. VM is connected. VLAN ID 100 is trunked here and defined here. And now here also there is a port group. Okay. Now I'm trying to move this version. After this in the next class we will discuss about this feature called vMotion. We will move this VM for some reason from here to here we will move. Okay, now in this situation you tell me I will move this VM. I'm still connected to this port group. Now from here when I try to connect to this machine, when the VM was here it was working. When I move this VM here, will it work or not? Communication, something like this communication, will it work or not? No. Why? Ekada? Okay. Here I will just verify after moving that VM. I will go and verify where is my VM connected and whether VLAN ID is here or not. It should be same as on the other host where it was connected. Previous host lo a VM ekkada connect ayintundo aa port group lo unna VLAN ID move ayina chotu kuda undali. So on the host where you have moved, it should be having the same VLAN ID. So like this on the diagram, right? So you have to verify that first. First from our end we have to verify everything. If you are good, then you talk to the network. Real time lo common ga vache issue. After vMotion, VMs will not be connecting. Then where to troubleshoot? I'm explaining now itself. In real time, you should not face, you should not take anyone help again. Okay. So after vMotion, people will complain that my VM is not suddenly reachable. First thing you have to go and verify whether vMotion is happened or not. How to verify? If you select a VM, monitor, task and events, you can see here. You can see relocate virtual machine. That we will see during the next topic. What is the log about vMotion? Here you can see relocate happened. Here you can see time also when it is happened. Okay, and he will be saying that it is started giving me trouble from 9:20. Now it is exactly matching. Relocation is happened around 9:20. That means vMotion, after vMotion he is facing problem. Then first thing you have to check which network is connected. VM network 2 on the go to that host. Where is VM network 2? What is the VLAN ID here? And from where it was migrated on that host, you can verify. Okay, so it is correct now. Will it work now? I have entered VLAN ID here. Still no. Yeah, that's correct. Now tell me, like I have configured VLAN ID here. Will it work or not? As per the diagram. Don't think too much. I'm just asking questions. All questions about our discussion are based on the on-screen image. Still no, okay, because here the trunking is missing. But this will be visible for us. This will be clearly visible for us because our VM is connected here. We'll go and verify what is the VLAN ID. And this will not be visible on the switch side. You have to talk to the network admin and inform. Can you verify the VLAN trunking on the port number 1/3? Okay, so then he will go and check. If it is missing, he will try to put it. It's happened like common thing. Many of our old students used to post questions about this thing. After vMotion, my VM is not. Even interview question, common interview question. After vMotion, I lost connectivity to VM. First thing, verify the VLAN ID from our side. Then they talk to the network admin and ask him whether trunking is done. It might be missed. When the VM was here, it will be working because VLAN it is connected to the port group and port group where VLAN ID is there. Here also trunking is there. It is working. When you move this VM from here to here, it will not work because there is trunking missing, or might be V missed here. Clear? A very important thing to check during the troubleshooting. Any questions from VLAN? Is it clear? In our lab, there is no VLAN ID configured. If you configure any VLAN ID, we will lose communication. Don't practice on the switch 0. If you try to put VLAN ID here, we will lose connection to vCenter itself. Because our vCenter is connected here. You are trying to enter VLAN ID here, on the other end, configure. Okay, so don't use these two code groups. If you change here, we will lose connection to host only. If you change here, we will lose connection to vCenter itself. Don't try them. Try it on your own host or extra switch. Okay, you can test them. And again, don't use this VC to test connections and all. If you want, at least you can try DC or your own Windows machine, but don't try this VC. Because if you lose connection to this VC, you will lose this access to vCenter. You can fix using other. Don't try to break. For some reason, if you do that by mistake or unwantedly, if you do that, if you do that, we will, and again, you are allowed to do everything. So if you break, then only we'll learn better. Okay, so try to break and learn. Okay, make a note what you are doing, like what you did, so it will help us to quickly get back.